Welcome everybody, this is Evelyn. Today is the 22nd of July 2022 and I have my message of the day from the Metatron deck, Nature's Whispers and Shaman Dreams. I wanted to get this information out to you. This was done yesterday, but I'm just getting it to you now. Today is the 22nd, so we have the energy of the Fool, and the day adds up to 35, which is the Wounded Warrior, the Nine of Wands, along with the Fool's Journey. So that's like the switching of paths. The Wounded Warrior is the old path of being the victim, and the Fool's Journey is the new path of that open heart, taking a leap of faith, trusting yourself. There's some very, really deep messages that came up. So here we go. This was done at 9:38 to 39 yesterday morning. The 9 of the Hermit, the 38 and 39 are the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups. And I started with the Metatron deck. You can see in front of you, I have the top row is the Metatron deck with the underlying energies here in all three decks. And then at the end, there's usually a pile that I have to count here, here, and then down here as well. And then the cards in between that just came out organically for the Metatron deck. Nature's Whispers, one card, 3 cards, etc. And then the Shaman Dreams deck, and there was only one card left here in the underlying energy because all the deck came out over here. So here we go. The underlying energy of love, the potential gateway, and the deep quiet, as you see in front of you on the left, of the numbers 21, which is the world like it was yesterday, the 12, the 21 and 12 reflecting each other, which is the Hangman and Wisdom, and then the 54 of the Page of Swords, getting that message out there, and the deep quiet of meditation. The Aqua Rose Gold Heart is the potential love gateway for the happy family relationships and harmony, aligning with the deep quiet, meditation, stillness. The underlying energy is the crystal in water, air flying, with the number 13 in transition. The color green was coming up with 39, which is the Knight of Cups, wearing the Emerald Order for heart healing, with the white 51, which is the King of Swords, and their diamond light wings for purity and innocence. And innocence was coming up broken down as the in, O is the human embodiment of source, and then sense, as in your senses. In no sense as well, or in no sense, CENCE, which is 2 seals around Jesus in my coding. Jesus between 2 seals, or sudden events, or sea to shining sea. Love with the aqua rose gold heart, and the aquamarine color, or aqua color with rose heart ring was coming up. In a transition of the Knight of Cups and the King of Swords to love, with green healing and pure white aqua, breath and heart rose. The underlying energy here was at 10:07, the Wheel of Fortune and the Chariot, of the 26 of the Page of Wands and being true to your heart. The Hermit of the perfect setting, with number 9, and the 23 of the King of Wands, where you are worth it, in that 50 of emotional fulfillment and family happiness in the potential gateway of this tree. And you see that tree on the left in the middle. It's a very powerful energy of the heart of the tree. The Page of Wands Hermit, the King of Wands family, the Page of Wands and the King of Wands hermiting with the family, or with Hermit or Virgo between them, or in meditation and wise counsel or mediation. Be true to your heart, allowing the ships to sail, knowing the one in the distance is coming in, through the conch shell, the mouthpiece, and the crystal communication, or the sparkly phone, in a double diamond Merkaba ring that spins with rose gold, and a megaphone. So the megaphone was coming up, as that can definitely be a lot of different things describing your phone, or your connection, your telepathic connection, phoning home to ET family could be coming up as well. Or literally a case for your phone made of quartz, which was coming up as protective of silica. Be inspired by the natural state of being, your own natural sunny glow, crystalline, pops of aqua and sky, and rose against tan skin, golden hair, and the bluebird of happiness, the peacock eyes, calla lilies, and flying fish, painting in the perfect picture, and the sunset, as the hermit is showing compassion for others but also themselves. By the sea or in the mountain, with the river running below, see the electric, mountain magnetic. So it's coming up as the ocean is electric and the mountain is magnetic. The King of Wands, you are worth it. It's the energy of he looking at her. He is picturing her in that nook by the sea with their ship coming in. Perhaps someone is letting the mountain house go to the ex, or having a second vacation place in the mountains at 1026, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Wands. And the Ten of Cups, family happiness, all through the tree, trunk, heart, reflecting the water, the mountain and the sea, and the abundance of the life between the mountain and the sea. At 1028, which is the Wheel of Fortune and the Twin Flames, that Two of Wands and choice of path, is the 11 of justice and alignment. He, in the deep quiet of meditation and stillness, reaching out to touch or phone home, perhaps in the dark without being able to see, but just knowing. The first card out of the King of Wands and that yin-yang energy of duality as well, and the King of Wands being off balance for a moment while hooking up to aqua rose gold heart, becoming two as one, and there may be balance needed here. The Divine Feminine is very good at balance and multitasking. The Divine Masculine may need help right now with this. The Eight of the dance of leading the way from dark to light, with flame in right hand and ring and 3 keys in the left. And the Merkaba was coming up very significantly here with 2 pillars. So the 2 pillars with the Merkaba between. As 2 triangle pyramids of the Merkaba become 1 star. 2 trying new angles. Pyro angels creating a fire between them, becoming a star, a double diamond star. 2 cones or pyramids spinning, as the King of Wands is dancing with the Page of Wands, and the Magdalena scalloped shell with phased array that matches the sun's rays. So it comes up as the emanation from the womb of rays, matching and crossing the rays of the sun, as the life bulb of the womb to the light bulb of the sun here, breaking through the ceiling, and that has double meanings as well, in the wounded warrior's Kundalini rising. So then my Rolling Stone came up. Again, for me, the Rolling Stone is the 3EMW, right? It's all the same symbol, it's just rolling, right, in the 4 different positions. But here it's coming up as the wounded warrior, the WW, the energetic exchange or electric energetic exchange with the EE, the MM of the Mary Magdalene, and the 33 of the Christ vibration. The wounded warrior's electric energetic exchange with Mary Magdalene on the number 33 bridge of the rainbow bridge of unity, which is you showing a power of sovereignty and gratitude. The Rolling Stone times 2, right, with the double W's, E's, M's, and 3's, rolling together, 2 by 2. The Kundalini was broken down here of the K, which is that energy of the Unda, the wave or the black wallaby, the bubbling up, the boiling, the surging, the seething, to construct or manufacture, which means to make something up that's not organic. The Kunda altogether is the Unda infinitely. So the wave, the infinite bubbling up or surging or seething. And then the Lini at the end of Kundalini is the line, but remember the line is never straight, it's always curved. But it also means linen and flax, the earthquake, even, smooth, calm, and quiet, right, which are opposites basically. The mid, gentle, sweet, and the fresh water, the game fish, and it also means Lingala, which is a language. So Lingala is also actually spelled N, capital N Gala, which capital N for me is Christ. So Gala, right? This huge significant celebration of Christ consciousness. But it's also coming up as the Bantu language, which is the Northwest Congo, Central African Republic, as well as Southern South Sudan, a language birthed out of the need to understand each other in trade in Bangala to Lingala. By Catholic missionaries, the name was changed actually from Bangala to Lingala. And then the language became like a mishmash of different languages. So from the Congo, and then French, Portuguese, and English, as well as Swahili, Kikongo. And so Portuguese came up really significantly here because we were just talking about Betelgeuse, which is Betelgeuse, and Portuguese, the geese and geese were coming up. So when I looked up G-U-E-S-E as opposed to G-E-U-S-E, guest, geese, and guys came up. And also G-E-U-S is the enemy of the Spanish crown. So it's basically the Catholics versus the Protestants there. So in Portuguese, the geese is considered the Protestant, right? The lowlives, the ones that weren't Catholic. The Belgian lambic, or fermented beer, was coming up there as well. And G-E-U-Z means scissors, or to crack, or to be cracked, like to be cracked open. So the Kundalini literally means here the energy wave, the undulation, undulating in a sine wave, quaking and yet calm at the same time in language, an all-encompassing communication that everyone can understand. So there's very significant energy that came up prior to this too, where I told you about the two stars coming together, and that'll come up in a minute. Stay tuned for that. It's very important information that you need to know. So Orion, I told you the other day, and Taurus both come up in the sky as looking like Ks, which is the energy of one. Kundalini is also coming up as the K of energy, the as one, the Da, perhaps of the dad, but also the day, and then the Lini, the dance of the common language. The one Dali, like the Dalai Lama, which is effortlessness, ease, the end result measured by a fingertip, like reach out and touch someone, and a timber tree. The Nai of that show of power, and the tree of the wood, which is Nai. Nai also means now and place and sun and two, all these significant things like soul and life and spirit. Nai and I means I and the water, river, even and not even, it's all. The nine of one and the all, and the two of the two. The day, neither yes or no, the coconut, as well as to pour, the hair on your head, to us and look. Is, of, any, and to have, to say, to be bloated and swollen. So this is all the energy of Ni, of Nai, that show of power, where Orion and Taurus are that K, one day, line, or one is effortless, the fingertip measure, the phone home at 11:11 here, in a show of power of the sun, the now moment. This is all at 11:11. The sun, the now moment, us, tree, soul, I, water, day, to be, to have, the number 2 and the number 9, right? Instead of the 1 and the all, it's coming up as the twins and the all for you, the twin flame energy, that quantum twin flame energy of push and pull. Neither this nor that. And phone home. And then I kept getting a text from Enigma. So Enigma was coming up as well. And lasering. And then the geese or crows I was hearing in the background, but I wasn't sure which was which. But it was probably the crows just talking as I look at geese. Or geese. And then Betelgeuse and Portuguese were coming up as well, as in Portugal. But it was coming up here as the port of those who are lower or considered lower than the Catholics in the definition. And also some stuff that keeps coming up as I was in transit yesterday, hope and happiness was coming up And I had just watched that movie of Live is Life with twin brothers in it, where one of the twin brothers saved a little baby who was left with a mother who had OD'd, and they named her Hope. So hope and happiness came up, and then I was getting that twin energy in the womb, where hope was there, but happiness had left. And it was, yeah, I'll get in more into that at another time, but I just wanted to bring that up because that was coming up. The port of Portugal to Betelgeuse, which is the shoulder of Orion, and Juice is coming up as the Jews. Again, that energy of being less than the Catholics in the Catholics' eyes, and yet the Jew is J-E, which is I, and then the W, which is W. I-W, Jew. The Lover's King of Wands, strong lion, as the Page of Wands, wounded warrior Sagittarius, is coming up in that Tion dance, T-I-O-N, which is the tiger lioness dance in the heart and the womb, connection to infinitum, the holy grail of sudden events, a sudden quick God's rail, holy grail, the G rail, and the hole at the Y in the road, to infinitum, getting your wish and self-satisfaction with family circles, or spirals actually, because nothing's ever really closed, at dawn to the 54 of the Page of Swords, of the higher realms in magic. Magnetic inner child on the sine wave path to steepled door of the rocket to the castle in a cloud in the purple moon, 0 point field. And steepled windows were coming up in the very significantly here, because I had seen something else yesterday that had steepled windows all the way around it. The field of dreams and angels in the outfield, as the Page of Swords plays ball, stepping up to the plate to swing and tell, or show and tell. And then 21 cards came up. At the bottom of it all was the 18 of Mother Earth, and at the top was the 47 of blessings and thanks, the 47 of synchronicities and lots of options and variety, as well as heaven in your eyes. Thanksgiving every day, thank God, for synchronicities and plates. The 25 of the Knight of Wands, passion and the love for life, with the family, that 10 of Cups 50, which is that emotional fulfillment coming in from spirit with love. The 4 of letting go, time for release, from spring to fall, perhaps the Emperor and stability. And the energetic exchange of 34 and the sine waves, that undulation of love back and forth, for appreciation and healing and compassion and endings each day. In the 45 of the 4 of Cups, which is that purging card, the 5 of Cups, the purging card at sunset on Pier 99, which is all about compassion. The 1 of the magic yellow, the solar plexus and the sun of joy and happiness, of the carpenter bee and the buttercup yellow, that he is drawn to her, that he can't help it. He can't help himself. The 38 of the Queen of Cups light body and her light body powering up, as Atlas's inner child is being seen by himself. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, as the double diamond is in the sky, the twin flames in the electromagnetic field of possibilities, airing to the side of 51 to 52 degrees or percentage. The light of the King and Queen of Swords, and the twins untying the knots, which cracked me up because I just realized that was someone I know's last name. So the knots, but also the knots as in yes or no, the no's. The quantum energy, the leap of the twin flame push and pull, all at the same time. In double-eyed needle, the twin hearts, a two-way portal. And then Betelgeuse was coming up again. And the Portuguese, with the dragon fire, it was coming up. Betelgeuse is the port of geese, of dragon fire and strength of the sun, igniting the passion for 2 pyramids to come together and link up into the Merkaba, which breaks up into the Mer of the sea and the Kaaba, the story, the fright, the end, the finish, the premonition, the foreboding, the large and swollen. And then Kava also came up, because Merkaba can be spelled with B-A or V-A, and B-A or V-A-H. And Kava is an intoxicating plant. And also comes up coffee and to scrape, which was coming up as well here in scratching the surface. I think that comes up later in the read. But the cave, the concave, the cavity, the hollow, the pit, the dive, and to dive and to snow came up. So Merkaba literally comes up as meaning sea story. The sea is a scary, large, foreboding, and swollen place. The sea end. The Morkava is the sea, intoxicating plant. That can be the letter C of the Christ consciousness. The cave of the bitter and the struggle, to snow and to dive. The Merka is also to buy, mark, brand, and label. And Ba is to flood, water, river, unbelief. And the sheep or the goats cry, like Ba, and also bet. So the Merkaba is to gamble, to buy, and to brand without belief. The flood of the sheep or goats cry. At 1154, which is justice and the page of swords, the Merkava is to buy or label a language, to buy into disgust or outrage, or in other words, regarding language, to express your differences. So language came about not to communicate love, but to express your differences, not your samenesses. So at 1155, which I was just getting the love train there, of justice and alignment and the whole truth of the Ace of Swords, justice and truth of the Page of Cups evolution, the birthing of the new heart, and the King of Cups detaching and looking up with the numbers 40 and 37 of the Page of Cups and the King of Cups, and their union of the home, and finding a needle in the haystack, the silver warrior of light, a miracle to find one sword that matches the stone. It's saying, think of the miracle it is for you to find that one special soulmate. But having two swords that are out of this world, right? That's not just a miracle, but out of this world. To find the two swords, the twin flame, the hermit of the nine running with the big bird, the chariots of fire, of water and fire, right? Because water and fire don't normally mix, right? They put each other out. Where land meets sea in the sky and the I am. I am, the mountain in the purple moon. The two of the high priestess, divine feminine, magnetic. The time out needed to reflect here at 11:59, which is literally the 11th hour, the moment before 12. The 11th hour, the authentic self of the 46, the inner children. And who are you? Because the 46 is two children, not one. The 46 denotes two mints in one, the right and the left, coming together in the 43, pausing to receive healing to the ceiling, that crowning moment, the rainbow leap from here to there. So referring to your crown opening, but also the crowning of a child being born. And Metatron's 27 of the Ace of Wands and that new passion and inspiration. The bridge that is always open, the wind beneath your wings, the inspiration. That arcing moment is fleeting but powerful. And the 5 of the message in a bottle, communication with shell mouthpiece. Speak and be heard. The reed or the mouthpiece of the instrument. The vibratory complex, the tongue and cheek, right? The Mother Earth mountain, and the other emotional attachment to the RTH of the earth was Ruth coming up here, baby Ruth of grace, and this was at 1204, high priestess and the emperor. So this was bringing up a relationship in my family to get the point across, but Grace was my great aunt and Ruth was her daughter, so baby Ruth of grace is also coming up, and she was the same soul number as me, which was 38, the Queen of Cups. So also 38, Queen of Cups from Grace, and my mother's middle name was Grace, named after my great aunt Grace. And so they're bringing up the repeating of that in me and my mother, me being the 38, Queen of Cups, from Grace, Queen of Wands, which is the number 24 here. The Queen's Chamber, which in the old way was the 11 cubits in the pyramid, cubits with a C on Mother Earth's field of grain, but 11 cubits with a Q of 2 in the uplifted position. The 6 faces of the hexa and the 5 of the pent, as in hexahedron and pentahedron, comes up to the 6 and the 5 of the 11, and the 38, which is an 11, the 65 of the King of Pentacles, which is an 11, as well as the 47 and 56, which are both 11s. The dreams and the knowing, the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups, and the elemental earth, food for thought, as the Queen of Cups with synchronicities and dreams, knowing with peace of mind, with the King of Pentacles, all equaling 11, alignment, resonating with the planet. The 18 is the 1 and the 8 that are both the two numbers that are symmetrical no matter which way you put them. The 1s and the 8s are both balanced. The 1 of the divine masculine, but the 8 is the dance between the masculine and feminine, flowing back and forth, is the divine feminine. A house is not 4 sides. It is at least 6 sides, and 7 with a roof. And 4 sides is a pyramid or a teepee, right? The 3-sided pyramid at the bottom. The makings of a cone. 2 pyramids together is the Merkaba 3-dimensional star of David, the shield of David. And this was at 12:21. Literally, the 12/21/2020 conjunction came up and it was 12:21 on the clock. 12:21 on the clock, and the 12/21/2020 Saturn-Jupiter conjunction came up, which was supposed to happen at that time between 5 and 7 p.m., the brightest thing in the sky, July 29th at 10:30 to 5:30, and this was talking about 2013 as well. At 12:27, from Israel365news.com, remember this, well, 12:27 is the Hanging Man and the Ace of Wands. Israel 365 rather, which notices the 65 in there with the 3 of the Empress, and the 36 of the Atlas energy, and the 5 of the freedom and communication and expansion and the Hierophant. Israel365news.com, on January 10th, 2017, there was an article in there, 5 years from now, the light from the ancient collision of 2 stars will reveal a brand new star in the night sky that fully coincide with the arrival of the Messiah, expected in 2022 in a nova blaze of light, will be the brightest visible in the sky for 6 months after. The first time in history an event like this will be witnessed by us. And now I know Indigo Angel's been talking about 3 days of light at the end of July, and I was getting the new moon. You're supposed to be out there watching anyway. Not the comets. I'm talking about the. I'm just blanking out on the word, but they're going to be in the sky around the new moon. So we're supposed to be looking up at the sky. But I'm getting this, she's getting the 3 days of light at the end of July, and I was getting July 31st to August 2nd, but if not that time, sometime between July 31st and August 31st, that this 3 days of light's supposed to happen, which is this nova of 2 planets crashing into each other that happened 1800 years ago, but the light took that long to get to us because of the distance here. And it's 2 planets in the Southern Cross or Crux that are literally going to be the brightest star in the sky for the next 6 months after the 3 days of light, which would mean, because when the light initially comes in, it just, it's so much light and energy that it takes out the night for 3 days in a row. So this is the message from that website. The Messiah will come from the tribe of Judah. The new star equals a binary star, or 2 stars orbiting a central point. They described it as 2 peanuts in a single shell, and moving closer to each other, and will collide in 2022 in a massive explosion release where much energy as the sun releases in an entire lifetime. It will create a red nova. Brightness 10,000-fold for 6 months, and then will fade at that time. Part of Cygnus, adding a star to the Southern Cross pattern. The event took place about 1800 years ago, and it took basically almost 2,000 years for the light to reach Earth. So the Southern Cross is in Centauri, in that area, and you only be able to see You can only see the Southern Cross from, like, I guess, very southern Florida or Hawaii as far as the United States. And Cygnus is next to Lyra, which is next to Hercules. And Orion is positioned right at the Southern Cross. It looks like they're pointing a bow at the Southern Cross, with the dragon and Pegasus with Andromeda between Orion and the cross. Okay, remember Pegasus is the sun and Andromeda is the daughter. The sun and the daughter are between Orion and the Southern Cross that's supposed to have this supernova. So then at 12:52, and there's nothing to fear about this. Remember, so if this 3 days of light happens, or when it happens, we're knowing it's okay. But obviously people don't know that are going to freak out thinking it's, the end of the world or something like that. At 12:52 is the Hanging Man and the Queen of Swords, the first card of the 6 of the big picture, from the North Pole to the South Pole, and the potential tree gateway for the King of Wands and their unbalanced heart, and the Divine Feminine in the deep quiet, straddling worlds with one foot in this and one in the next. And what are the dates of the supernova here? I don't know if it's a regular nova or supernova, but the 31 card came up right after that, which is to be spontaneous between 6/31 and 8/31. And of course 6/31 is July 1st because there is no 31st day. So it was definitely coming up between sometime between now and the end of August. The orange super sphere, reach out and touch someone. So it's reaching out to touch us. And this is the twins coming together, the Divine Masculine leading the way to the cosmic womb, the Divine Feminine, the 36 of the Atlas intuition, and brain on fire with the 27, and the being inspired by maintaining that childlike spirit of Atlas holding the head while the axis pivots. And this is literally the two, top vertebrae in your spine, Atlas and axis. Atlas is holding up your head while the axis of the world pivots. The 3 of the Empress in abundance, celebrating your differences. The mother unicorn is coming up here, and the child as the dolphin, coming together to infinitum at 101, which they're using me and my daughter as a reference because my daughter's coming home and she's very much a Pisces dolphin, and my mother always called me her unicorn. So it's very much that mother and child coming up here, coming together to infinitum as I lose my voice at 101, which is the equality of the magician and the space between, that masculine energy, where land meets sea, the ocean comes to the beach. The 33 of the Christ vibration at the top, and at the bottom of it all is the 45 of the purge and letting it all go and letting it all out as I lose my voice and needing to speak your truth. The empowerment of the purge and allowing yourself to purge, especially in the masculine energy here. And at the top of it is the 33 of being gentle with yourself. And the name Isabel is coming up with that as well. And the 18 of the moon and the purple moon of new experiences and possibilities, with the vase on the round table with butterfly and horse, the unity consciousness and the purple moon. And I was just getting Pegasus and Andromeda again, the butterfly and the horse. Pause to touch the trunk to stabilize yourself and ground, as the emperor is the trunk and you are the fairy girl. The 34 of the energetic exchange and the arrows of love in being vulnerable and floating on that little leaf like a little girl, a baby, down that Borealis river, away from the 9 candles, right, which is that explosive victim mentality, and the pink moon, perhaps 9 cards. In the energetic exchange and transition to the renewal of peace, and the baby in the nook. With the 2 of Cups 42, let love be your guide. As you blush orange as the 46 little girl and unicorn with gratitude and appreciation with the wounded warrior. The culmination of a vision as the wounded warrior dies away. It dries out and shrivels up, which is being represented by the droughts right now. And the 49 of the robed girl and getting her wish. It's like the robed girl, right, the night before the wedding, and heightening your vitality. And bringing up your mandala, like picture what your mandala looks like, your own spiritual one, and connect with the 32 of the journey, to trust your own understanding, your filter, your remote view, from a plane perhaps, of the 25, and keep your dreams alive as the Knight of Wands, blue baby, blows you a kiss, moving to calmer waters, getting over it, and empowered. And the Southern Cross. And the Southern Cross was actually coming up in my read this past week. I don't know if I actually said it or not, but I remember it coming up and I didn't understand what its purpose was in the read. So July 31st is coming up as the Southern Cross. And then the 6 kept coming up around it as the 6-month residual of that brightest star in the sky. So it's coming up 731, 831, and the 6s were coming up as that 6 months. At 124 is the Magician and the 24 of the Queen of Wands, where all the crows were talking their heads off, the talking heads. And then the 1 of the Straddling of Worlds of the 52, the Queen of Swords, and the 6 of the Cosmic Womb and the lovers reaching out to each other. The 5 of the Hierophant closing the old, the doors of completion, right? The Hierophant can represent the old of societal norms. Closing the door and completion of the 6 and the 5, which is the Hex and the Pent. The 65 is also the King of Pentacles. The Cosmos closing a door. An exciting 15 of the Death Devil being whipped up in the desert, spiraling up to move out of stagnation, which also can represent the Horse Nation. And the horse, it's also coming up with stag-nat connection. They didn't want me to leave my Nat out, who always comes up as unforgettable. Stag, Nat, and then Ion is connection. So the horse, Nat, connection, right? The very tiny and the very big, because that always comes up for me as Mr. Ed, as God. The Saggy, all expansive energy. The sky bridge of the 47 and dreams coming true, heaven in your eyes, the possibility for union and filling in the gaps in the Southern Crossing, synchronicities, choices, and heaven in your eyes. The 1 of magic, of the Magician, and a tidy house with clarity and organization. And then I was getting, quote unquote, clearing house, so to speak. At 128, the Magician and the 28 of the twins and the choice of path on the journey of the jeweled web. I was also getting Christmas in July with that jeweled web. To connect to the benefactors of grace and generosity in the abundance of the Empress's mushroom. And that card I always show you of the 2 little guys in the mushroom, who's just that epitome of joy in enjoying each other's company. And the mushroom is coming up as the mushy room, right? The cuddling room. Christmas in July. Sit back and watch the show as the 35 wounded warrior and their lost compass now getting back to their integrity at 11, before the 11th hour. The 721, which was the day I was writing this, right? And then 11 equals 732, which is actually coming up into August, because 21 plus 11 is 32, which would bring us into August 1st. So there's definitely that energy between July 31st and August 2nd coming up here. The 3 days of magic mushrooms, and somebody could be doing magic mushrooms, but 3 days of magic mushrooms in a jeweled compass. And then they were giving me a reference, because I have a watch with meteor in it. The meteor showers at the end of the month are coming up. So when you're looking up at the new moon, because it needs to be dark for you to notice these meteor showers going on, is when the 3 days of light's supposed to be coming in, but I don't know if that's correct or not. But I was getting between now and August 31st. The twin houses next door with connecting bridge as 2 come together, 2 people, 2 houses, 2 countries, 2 worlds, etc. Watch and discern. This show is so much better. With 40 cards at 135, the Magician embodiment and the Wounded Warrior. The 40 of the Page of Cups and that pure innocence, where at the bottom of it is the Moon Maiden. 41 of love and new beginnings. At the top is the 46 of the Root Girl and the disowned self. The Page of Cups in a group think coming together with the 7 of the unwritten covenant. The 14 of the drifter in a higher love. The 4 of the Emperor and their cat ER pillar, unwinding, and the 25 of the Knight of Wands in the Garden of Venus, being inspired. The 28 of the Twin Flames, hallowed and humbled, the perpetual student of life, and the 30 of the Union in the home of the Horseman, like giddy up in the heralding of changes to come into union. The 62 of the Will-o'-the-Wisp of 138, the Magician and the Queen of Cups, the treasures hidden in the shadows and the release from the prison of the 23 King of Wands and Fortune's Wheel of the 33 Joyful Muse of Inspiration. The 34 of the Energetic Exchange of the King of the Hill, and I was just getting the Kundalini, the King of the Hill, the K of the Hill, and the Lay of the Land. The 27 of the Inspiration of the Heart Home and Compassion. The 20 of the Feast of Plenty in the Wake-Up Call of two sharing one. In Wake-Up Call of the 58, which is for me is the Twin Flame Connection, the 4 of Swords and the 5D Connect, and the shattering of preconceived notions about each other. The 48 of the Sky Dancer surrendering to the yellow-orange sphere, and the 57 of the 3 of Swords separation in unmarked trail, the revelation of the maze and the pressure of getting quote-unquote screwed by nature, that pressure like the coal becoming the diamond. The 38 of the Queen of Cups of the Mary Magdalene with the many masks of the authentic self of the feminine. The 37 of the King of Cups and the Magician's sword, the Magi's sword, in confidence, and the 53 of the Knight of Swords stranger, who's very curious about what's down under. So there's a reference there to Uluru in Australia. The 21 of the World and taking your first breath after completion. The 144, the Magician, and the 44 of grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love in the completion of the world and the beginner's mind. The 31 of the Chaos in the Hand, the light that is your universal partner, and the 2 of the High Priestess and the Divine Feminine, beloved, with heart ablaze with radical acceptance. The 39 of the Knight of Cups in the Metox, repairing body, mind, spirit, and love. The 56 of the Wall, the block of inner knowing, right? The perception from within, seeing out, with a hole to peek out from. At 145, remember the wall is the masculine, the hole to peek out is the feminine, saying, now wait a minute, we need a way out. The 8 of the Crown Games and the Power Games knocked your block off. So there's that energy of Charlie Brown and knocking their block off. The 26 of the Page of Wands, getting around, or the gathering around of the 59 of the Inner War, the Wailing Tree, and the reconciliations of thee and with thee. The 49 of self-satisfaction and skywriting fates. At 147, the Magician and the synchronicities, and the 29 of being present to them. The 3 of Wands, present and at attention. In the horned cactus here, who's very resourceful. The Page of Swords of the 54, and the crossing or initiation to the Sun of the 19, and the falling angel. As the sun explodes, your pieces fall back into you. And this came up the other day of the pieces of you when you're falling. It's not the fallen angel, it's the falling angel. When you're falling, it allows the other the soul fracture to all come back to itself. It's like the reversal of the mirror cracking, all the pieces coming back into you. The falling angel is all of your pieces falling back into your body. The 44 of the perfect storm on the eagle's perch, of the raven and the peacock standing guard as the hermit balances on one foot, of the feminine, one foot in this world and one in the other. The whale's song portal of the 61 and taking a risk, resonating with the whales. The 10 of the high vibe destiny to dive deep, and the 17 of the dreams into the eye of the needle, the storm with intention of dreams. The 36 of the Atlas lost in space, where Atlas is needing direction because it's a map. The 55 of the truth of the farther gate, with 2 gates, 2 suns during Lion's Gate to Tiger's Gate. And Tiger's Gate is Sagittarius 12-12. So it's coming up as the 6 months between right now and then, and this double gate and double sun of these two planets coming together and making a supernova. So then we'd have a sun there and our sun, and then the two gates of Lion's Gate and Tiger's Gate, of the tie-in coming together, tie-on of the tiger and the lioness. The cave wall is blown wide open, so now it's not just a hole, a peeking hole, but now there's an entrance into the cave. All walls are blown away, with the 12 of the hanging man and the dragon's horde, and hanging out protecting the future, with the 18, the eyes of the eagle, with magnifying glass or binoculars, or night vision, unable to rise above the fray. Able to rise above the fray. So you're going to have night vision because there's not going to be any night. It'll be light. Able to see in the dark, even if that's blinding bright light. The 64 of the woodwives, adaptable, extension of the tree, and the 60 of the watchers of peace and coming together in overflow, of the 63 of the suffering and silence and trying to release that in the winter's dream, the gestation period. The 24, the wounded warrior of the mother, the 24, Queen of Wands, and the galactic mushroom. The mushy room, galactically, right? So it's like your private room that I was talking about, going up to visit with your twin on the whispering bench. And the Queen of Wands coconut of the 50 of the happy family and the spirit of the river moving to adventure. As the 16, suddenly time to replenish, more water please, with the 2 of cups and preparations now coming to fruition and coming together. The 13 of transition of the dream thief who's trying to block you from your dreams, right? Blocking you from waking up and putting you back to sleep. And the 45 of repairing the veil and allowing forgiveness to happen. The 41 of the moon maiden and love, self-love, spiritual love, and new beginnings, new love, underwater, holding up the world. So being very comfortable in your emotions and holding up the world at the same time, because when you're underwater, it becomes very light. At 159, which is the magician, and the moment before, the 59, the war within, that anticipation of after bringing pages back together, whether it's books pages or pages as in children back together. Because you might naturally be called to bring your children back together with you during this event. And it was so weird because I was just writing some notes, and it's like instant manifestation. As soon as I wrote a name, Isabel, literally I was watching a movie and they said Isabel when I wrote Isabel, and then that came. And it was channel 61, as I just talked about the whales, and the 61 that was coming up resonating with the whales. And 61 is that risk card. And there was another word last night too. I literally, as I'm writing it, they're saying it on TV. It was so weird. So it's very much reminiscent and of Stepford Wives also coming up last night. But the new Stepford Wives at the end, the Stepford Wives overcome. And that's the first time I'd seen the new Stepford Wives last night. So that was kind of interesting twist the way they did it this time, as opposed to the first Stepford Wives. But this reminiscence of the old, the Stepford Wives, no more, right? And really wanting to, remembering that the masculine has the feminine in him, and the feminine has the masculine in her, that we are each other. And understanding the samenesses in each other as opposed to seeing the differences. And so take a deep breath. I'll bring some other information later if I can today. Otherwise, just be good to yourselves and heed this information, please, and rise and be love. Bye, guys.